All right, Jordan Love is here. What's going on, buddy?
Not much, man. I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm great. We're going to start before we get into the football. Most surprising thing that you did this offseason? Something that would surprise fans that maybe it's not just a trip to Europe or whatever. What do you got?
Most surprising thing. Man, I don't have too much surprising stuff, man. I went on a trip to Hawaii with my family.
There we go.
That was pretty fun. Haven't done a family trip in a while, so it was a good time.
That's great.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get into the football. Biggest difference between Jordan Love in 2024 and 2025 is what?
Man, I think it's just taking that next step, like continuing to keep growing myself and just find ways to get better and keep improving on things. So I think a big focus for me is just the consistency, trying to be the best player I can be every play with my footwork and accuracy. And then obviously I think just continue to create more plays and make more off-schedule plays and use my legs a little bit more when things might be a little bit broken down. But I think just continue to build on the little things and keep stacking.
What did you see on tape when you watched yourself last year that either you say, okay, I'm honing in on this? Like, just give me a self-scout for Jordan Love 2024.
Yeah, no, I think from last season, the biggest thing was accuracy. I think there was some just inconsistency with the accuracy and things like that where balls that, keep you up at night where it's like, man, I could have easily made this, and it might be just something's wrong with my feet. Maybe I'm not opening up enough, or following through. So just little things. But I think the biggest thing is just I feel like I wasn't creating as many off-schedule plays last season. Obviously I was dealing with some injuries, different things like that. But I think that's a big part of my game that I got to get back into.
Yeah, obviously you get hurt in week one, and all of a sudden the ad-lib stuff, it can go. That's that's the first thing to go, right? When you're talking about mobility and all that stuff.
Sure.
So how do you get back to that where you're able to make the off-schedule stuff, knowing that you're not even going to know what you need until the heat of battle?
100%. I think it's just trying to push yourself in practice. I think the main goal for me is trying to make every situation in this game like as possible. So if the rush is getting there, try and find ways to get up out of there. It keeps training the receivers on what to do and our scramble drill mechanics. And when they see me get off schedule, to keep working for me and keep making those plays. So I think it's just making an emphasis on focusing on it in practice and making those off schedule plays.
Yeah, I was going to say, part of it, like I remember talking to Mahomes about this years ago, and Veach and those guys, like you have to either scout for a type of receiver who can make those ad-lib plays or just develop chemistry with these guys here. Like, how do you develop that chemistry with those receivers so hey, when I go here, you go here?
Yeah, it's all developing that chemistry, and it comes from reps. We do it in our group install period when there's no defense out there. And then obviously once you get a defense out there, it's just being on the same page. Yeah. Like if somebody's on your back, push up a little bit, come back down, or throw a hand up. And so it's all the little body language to, tell me where you might be going so we are on the same page. But it's just reps.
Obviously, most drops in the league last year, it's a stat that gets bandied about. As a quarterback, how do you process that? Is that chemistry? Is that you can throw a better ball in some situations? Like, when you hear that number, how do you process that?
Yeah, for me, it's always trying to look at my game and figure out how I can be better in that area because, a drop is on everybody. It's on, there's 11 guys on the football field. We all got to do our 1/11th to do our job. So for me, it's always about how can I be better for these guys? How can I be a little bit more accurate? Put a ball right on them where, they're not trying to make a tough catch. So for me, it's always looking inward and trying to figure out how can I improve my accuracy? How can I improve ball placement? Just continue to keep growing the chemistry with these guys and keep having that confidence in them, keep, feeding that confidence into them so, they're feeling comfortable and confident to go out there and make those plays.
Last thing before we get to the fun stuff. When you just think about just the game and the way you've processed the last few years, the fadeaway throws have been such a huge part of it. Is that something, like, is there an art to that? Is that just naturally? Is that from basketball? Like take me through the art of the fadeaway throw.
No, I think that's just something that I've naturally kind of always done. I think it's just part of how I play and, finding ways to get the ball off in certain situations. And when people are around you, kind of just naturally fading away sometimes after a throw. So there's some times where, that's an area even you got to clean up and be able to, drive through some of those throws and finish with a balanced finish. But there's sometimes it works out. So that's all just natural and something I've always kind of done.
All right, quick hitters. Most impressive newcomer so far?
Matthew Golden.
Take me through what makes him special so far.
Man, I think he's shown up since day one and just really shown his play style, shown what he's all about. I think he came in really polished and has been making plays since day one. He's got very aggressive hands. He's a smooth route runner. He's got speed. So I think for him, it's just continue to understand the playbook and wrap his head around everything that we have in because we have a very deep system. But When you can see when he knows what he's doing, he's feeling confident. He's been playing lights out, so he's gonna be a stud.
That's awesome. All right, we do something called Badass. Most badass guy you've ever played with, any level of football. Who you got?
Badass.
Badass.
Aaron Rodgers, man. Aaron Rodgers. Yeah.
What made him badass?
Man, that speaks for himself. I think the play style, the way he plays the game, the intensity that he brings to everything. Practices, walkthroughs, in the meeting rooms. Like he's a badass man right there, and he obviously goes out there on the field and does what he needs to do out there, and has made a pretty good career for himself.
I've noticed.
Yeah.
I saw your line about how it's not like he goes up to a chalkboard and says, "Here's how to play quarterback." But can you take me into something that you learned about football that you would not have known if you did not play with Aaron Rodgers?
Oh man, there's so much. I think just all the subtle things A-Rod does at the line of scrimmage, pre-snap, seeing what the defense is in, all the different ways he tries to, kind of mess with the defense and play games and use his cadence, try and get free plays. And obviously the way he watches the sideline to see guys subbing on and off and be able to get some free plays out of that. So I think there's so many little things that I learned from A-Rod, who's a savvy vet, been doing it a long time, that I was able to see at a young, coming in as a rookie, first, second year guy that, without being in the room with him, I probably never would have picked up on some of that stuff.
What do you think what part of that is that you just named as your strength right now? Do you think you can use no one can be Aaron Rodgers as far as the cadence and getting guys to declare and all that stuff. Like, what do you think you've worked on that you've gotten better at the last couple of years?
I think cadence is a big part that I've learned a lot from him, and how to use the cadence and try and manipulate the defense, get some of those free plays, and just little things you do, whether it's like giving a fake mic call or fake calls at the line and try and make guys think, all right, a play's
fake
really
mic
coming.
Call?
Yeah. So all the little body language, different things you do at the line of scrimmage on a real play. Adding those to sometimes we might not even have a play call, and he might be just doing stuff to mess with the defense to try and get them to feel like it's a real play. So there's a lot that goes into it.
Fake mic call. And then the guy yells, "I'm not the mic," and then they're all just
a lot of stuff. Yeah.
All right. Good luck. Thanks, buddy.
Yes, sir.